Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're going to learn about graphing inequalities. N is less than or equal to negative 5. Okay. So the key thing I'm looking at here is that negative 5. Negative 5 is right here on that number line. So if we say n can equal negative 5, at that moment I'm going to put a closed circle right there at negative 5. Then they tell us the other aspect here is the less than sign. N is less than negative 5. So since n is less than negative 5, I'm going to shade to the left. So I shade to the left, down is more negative. And there we have it. We have our graph. Okay? N is less than or equal to 5. Okay. The key thing is looking at this positive 5. Positive 5 is right here. And since n can equal positive 5, n equals positive 5, we put a closed circle right there at 5. And then the other key part, they say n is less than 5. Less than, we shade to the left. So we put a little number line, we're shading here to the left. And we don't need to go all the way, but there we have it. We're shading that way. And all of these are also included. That arrow shows that it's including all those forever and ever to negative infinity. And then we have our answer. X is less than 1. Okay. Well, when x is less than 1, right, we do not see an equal to sign. So that means at 1, I'm going to put an open circle right there. Right? No equal to 1, right? It's not equal to 1, put an open circle. Then we have a less than sign. The less than sign says we shade to the left. So we shade to the left right here. And that's it. Fairly simple. Our graph now matches our inequality. R is greater than 2. Well, with R being greater than 2, right, it's not equal to 2, but 2 is still our main point here. So we look at 2, but since R is just greater than 2, but not equal to, we have an open circle at 2. Then, with R being greater than, we shade to the right. So when we see the greater than sign, we shade to the right, and there we have it. We have our graph now that represents our inequality. N is less or greater than 5. Okay, so n is just greater than 5. Well, we look at 5, 5 being our key point here. 5 right here, right? So 5 is the key point. And since we have n is greater than, but not equal to, right? That's the other key. We have an open circle at 5. Then, with n being greater than 5, we shade the area to the right. And there we have our graph. N can be any value that is greater than 5. All these values here to the right of 5. R is less than or equal to a negative 2. Okay? So again, I'm going to start here at negative 2. Negative 2 is right there, and we have a closed circle at negative 2. Why do we have a closed circle at negative 2? Well, R is equal to negative 2. So since R is equal to negative 2, closed circle. Next thing, R is also less than negative 2. So it's less than and equal to. So since it's less than negative 2, we shade to the left. Right here. We shade to the left. A little arrow there showing all those values to the left. That's where R can be because it's less than negative 2. And that's it. K is less than or equal to negative 2. Alright, so at negative 2, we have, right, the main spots. We're looking at negative 2 right there. And since k can equal negative 2, we have a closed circle. So we put a closed circle at negative 2. Then they say that k is also less than negative 2. So that means we shade to the left. So we shade to the left right here. And now we have our final answer, essentially, right? N is less than negative 5. Well, if n is less than a negative 5, all right, we must start at that negative 5. So negative 5 is right here. Okay, so the m is less than, but it does not say equal to -5. Since that's not there, we put an open circle at -5. So we put open circle at -5. Now, m is less than -5, so we shade to the left. So we shade to the left right here. And there we have it. We have our graph. So let's recap. We have m is less than -5. X is greater than or equal to 2. All right. So the main thing here is we start at 2. Since x can equal 2, we have a closed circle at 2. So we got a closed circle right there, 2. Then they also tell us that x is also greater than 2, right? Greater than and equal to. So greater than, we shade to the right. So all these values that are also greater than 2, we shade to the right. And now we have our graph here that matches our inequality. -5 is greater than or equal to v. So what I like to do when I see something like this, right, I'm given -5 first, it's greater than or equal to v. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to put v first because I like seeing it that way. So I have my v first. And since we flip it around with a -5 over here, what we want to see is this greater than or equal to sign will switch to a less than or equal to something. Okay? So the way I kind of always match it, the pointy side is facing the v. Make sure it's still the pointy side of the inequality is still facing the v when you flip it. But we're good. So -5 being greater than or equal to v is the same thing as v is less than or equal to -5. So now we're at -5. All right. That's our main point here. We know v can equal it, so we have a closed circle right there at -5. Then we shade to the left because v is less than or equal to -5. Okay. Now, one thing we can see here, all right, so v is everywhere that we're shaded, right? The line is. So if you look at -5 can equal v, true, and -5 is greater than v. Yeah, everything v here, -5 is going to be greater than that. So it works both ways. I just find it easier to see it this way, so I always flip it right like that. -2 is greater than or equal to v. Well, the first thing I like to do here is I like to rearrange this. I'm going to put v coming first because I like seeing it that way. The greater than or equal to sign will flip to a less than or equal to sign. Then the -2 just comes over there. And so when we flip the whole inequality, remember the v comes there, -2 here, right? But the inequality inside flips from greater than or equal to sign to less than or equal to sign. So now we're at -2. -2, we have a closed circle because it's equal to -2. Then we shade to the left because v is less than that -2. So we shade to the left right here. Okay. And there we have it. We have our graph. X is less than 5. Okay. So if x is less than 5, what we have here is we start at 5, got it right there. And then since x cannot equal 5, right, it's just less than, we have an open circle at 5, okay? So we have an open circle right there at 5. Now we say x is less than 5, so we shade to the left from that 5. Now, you don't have to go all the way down, so teachers want you to. I'm fine with it right here, and to keep writing it. We know that that line goes forever and ever to negative infinity. -x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, now this is tricky. Okay, so we're given a -x is greater than or equal to 2. What I need to do is divide or multiply. Let's go multiply by a -1. Yeah, to multiply by a -1 to both sides. And what that's going to do is get rid of the negative in front of the x. I want x to be by itself. Okay, so now -1 times x is x. 2 times -1 is a -2. But since we multiplied over an inequality, right? Multiplied over an inequality, the sign switches. So from a greater than or equal to sign, we have a less than or equal to sign. And so now, -x is greater than or equal to 2 is the same thing as x is less than or equal to -2. So we start at -2. X can equal it. We have a closed circle right there. Closed circle at -2. Then we shade to the left because x is less than -2, so we shade to the left right here. And now we have a graph that matches final answer. So, where is our final answer? 5 is greater than or equal to negative a. Okay? Well, the way I go about this is I like to get a by itself first. So there's a negative in front of the a. I don't like it. So I'm going to multiply both sides by a negative 1. Okay? Multiply both sides by a negative 1. What that does, though, makes negative a times negative 1 a positive a, and negative 1 times 5 a negative 5. But since I multiply it by a negative over the inequality, that greater than or equal to sign flips to a less than or equal to sign. Okay? But now it even gets a little tricky, right? Because I like to see a coming first. So I'm going to flip this whole inequality, a to come first. Okay? I have a negative 5 over here. And then by doing that, I flip the inequality again here. So we have a greater than sign and equal to, right? Greater than or equal to. And the way I see it is like, okay, the pointy side goes to negative 5. Make sure that pointy part of the inequality goes to negative 5. All right? When you flip that there. So now that I have a is greater than or equal to negative 5, I start at negative 5. I have a closed circle at negative 5 because we can equal negative 5. Then a is greater than, so we shade to the right. All right, so now you don't have to go all the way. I never really do. Your teacher might want you to. Okay, so now we have a graph now that matches our final answer. Okay, x is less than or equal to 2. All right, so the main thing I'm looking at here is 2. All right, so I see 2 right there. X can equal 2, so I have a closed circle right there at 2. Then we say x is also less than 2, so we shade to the left. So shade to the left right here. And now I have my graph. That's our final answer, pretty much done here. X is less than or equal to 5. Okay? So we start here at 5. We see 5, right? Main point start at 5. And since x can equal 5, we have a closed circle right there at 5. Then we said x is less than 5, so we have to shade to the left. So we say shade to the left for 5. Right there. We don't have to go everywhere, all the way down to negative infinity, but it does that with the arrow. And so now our graph matches our inequality. Right? Negative 5 is greater than b. Okay? Well, the first thing I like to do here is I want to get b written out front first, right? I don't like it being second, right? So I'm going to put b out here, and I'm going to put negative 5 over here. But by flipping the inequality like that, I need to flip the inside inequality from my greater than sign to a less than sign. So now, negative 5 being greater than b is the same thing as b being less than negative 5. So we start at negative 5 here. We have an open circle because it is not equal to negative 5, so we have an open circle right there. Open circle. Then, since b is less than negative 5, we have the shade to the left, right? And then we have our graph. Our graph now matches our inequality, right? Negative 2 is greater than b. Well, if negative 2 is greater than b, I want to put b first. So I want to put b right here and put the negative 2 right there. Okay. Now, by flipping the inequality, I need to flip the sign. So negative 2 is greater than b. That greater than sign flips to a less than sign. Okay. So now we have b is less than negative 2. Okay, so b is less than negative 2. We can graph that. Negative 2 is right here. Since b is not equal to negative 2, we have an open circle right there at negative 2. Then we shade to the left because b is less than negative 2. Okay, so b is less than negative 2. There we are. And now our graph matches our inequality. Now remember, both of these inequalities mean the same thing. And so the graph represents both of them, right? When negative 2 is greater than b, it's the same thing as b is less than negative 2. We got this, we got a little thing right there. This is what our graph is, right? And it goes on forever. Okay? So the main thing I'm looking at here, okay, well, we have at 5, we have a closed circle. So let's use a variable n here, okay? And so n was choosing a variable, choosing n. N can, with that closed circle, it can equal 5. So since it equals 5, right, closed circle with a little bar underneath, then n is shaded to the left from 5. So put 5 right there, shaded to the left, we have a less than sign, right? So n is less than or equal to 5. And now we have our graph, we're given our graph, our inequality matches it. So that's it. I have this right here. And then it's this. Okay. So if we're given this graph right here, right? First thing, I'm going to pick a variable, let's pick p. Okay, p being our variable. Then we see a -1. -1 is a point of interest. Okay, so we have -1 right there. But one thing I noticed is that p cannot equal -1. Our open circle tells us that it's not equal to. And then we shade it to the left. Since we shade it to the left, it's just a less than sign. But we do not put the bar underneath it because p is not equal to -1. And so now we have a graph here that is shown, or a graph that tells us what this inequality is, and we have them paired up now. So I was given this graph. One thing I noticed is that -1 we have an open circle. Let's pick the variable r here. Okay, so we have an open circle. All right, this graph represents r. This open circle, right, at -1 shows me that it's not equal to. So now my two options are a greater than sign or a less than sign, right? Not the equal to ones. So we see that it's shaded to the right, right? So that means r is greater than that -1 right there. Okay, and since again not equal to, no bar underneath, so r is just greater than -1, and that's the inequality of this graph. So first thing I'm noticing here is at -5 I have an open circle. Okay, so we have an open circle at -5. So -5 is a key here. So we start at -5, and let's pick the variable a to represent our graph. Well, we have -5 with an open circle there at -5. That means we are not equal to -5. So our two options are a less than sign or a greater than sign. Well, since it's shaded to the left of -5, that's where the line goes, right? Then we have a less than sign. And so that's basically it. Final answer, right? We have a is less than -5. -5 being an open circle, shaded to the left. Okay. So I have my graph right here. One thing I noticed, I have an open circle at 2. So I put 2 down here, and let's pick the variable p to represent our graph here. All right. So open circle at 2, right? So that means it's either a less than sign or greater than sign. There's nothing that's equal to, right? Because it's not equal to 2. Well, since the shading is to the left of 2, we say p is less than 2. And that's basically it. We have our answer here, right? So we have an open circle, so p is not equal to 2, and less than shaded to the left. So we're given this graph. Well, one thing, I'm going to pick a variable, start with n, to represent the graph. I notice my starting point there is at -5, so the -5 right here. So now the only thing I'm really looking at here is what symbol is in between. Well, we have a closed circle at -5, so I know I'm going to have the bar underneath showing that it can equal -5. Then we're shading to the left, so n is less than that -5. So less than symbol right there. And that's it. Our graph now is matched up with this inequality. N is less than or equal to -5.
Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.